Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 5th episode of the Screen Guys podcast. I'm your host today. I'm Sean.
I'm Austin.
I'm Connor.
And today we have a special guest. Logan, how about you go and introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Logan. I'm the older brother of Sean here, and I'm super excited to be here, so give some hot takes, hopefully.
Well, we're happy to have you here. If you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself, introduce what movies you like, your top 4 movies, and yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So, I enjoy film, movies, stuff like that. Not as much as Sean here, but I enjoy a good movie show. For my top 4 movies, it was actually quite difficult to go through all that, just the different genres out there and everything, but I settled on a good 4, I believe. And this is in no particular order, just out there. I'd have to say 1 is Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Always been my favorite.
Now, when you say 1, because you said no particular order.
Yeah.
Yes, this movie, not to cut you off, just the thing about it that I know we're going to get into, it being May the 4th, is that I know people want to rag on it because of how old it is and how they say it didn't hold up well, but I completely disagree. To this day, I'm like, this is better than most movies being put out today.
I 100% agree. Just not only the content in the movie, but also the soundtrack for me. Just, we'll get into it, but the Final Celebration music always is just my favorite.
You two are brothers.
But that was the first one I had. The second one, now I don't know if many people know this movie, but it is Spirited Away.
Oh, I love that movie, dude.
It is a Studio Ghibli, so it's anime for those out there. If you hate anime, give it a shot. Trust me, I was an anime hater for a while. Finally gave it a shot. Really great stuff. But just not only the animation quality and everything, but the story it portrays and how crazy it can be, but yet put together is incredible. The characters they've made, and once again, the soundtrack, just wonderful out there. Third, now a lot of people think this movie's underrated, I've heard, and they kind of hate it. Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Okay, yeah.
Whoa!
We
Love that movie.
we went on that in the Marvel tier list, and we had talked a lot about that movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a good movie.
I don't know why, and maybe it's because on TikTok I've seen a bunch of edits and rewatched some films, and with the game Marvel Rivals, Ultron is going to be a character soon, so there's this big hype about it. Ultron himself in the movie and the actor who voiced him and played him, I can't remember his name.
James Spader.
Yeah. That's right, James Spader. Incredible performance.
All-time great.
He really showed that just kind of energy with him. Every time he would say he'd be serious, and all of a sudden he'd just it almost seemed like he broke character and just lost it, just freaking out at it. But incredible performance in that. I loved it.
Yeah. I love something that's crazy that I enjoy about that movie is we literally see the birth of Ultron, and it's counteracted with the birth of Vision, who continues on in the series. It's crazy. And then there's also the tie-in to, I can't remember his name, but he's in the Black Panther movie. He's the one that gets his arm cut off.
Claw, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Andy
that.
Serkis.
Yeah, Andy Serkis. I
yep.
love that tie-in. That is such a great part. When he gets called Tony Stark, and he's
Do not compare me to Tony Stark. He rips off his arm.
No, exactly. And I do wish they had done more with Ultron. Maybe shown, he had escaped.
Back.
And if he could come back, honestly, I would love it.
Isn't he coming back
But-
from Vision Quest?
Yeah.
That's what you said? Yeah.
I actually haven't heard of that before.
It's
Vision Quest?
Vision TV show, right? Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's I believe it's the White Vision.
Yeah,
You get to see
yeah.
him
Oh,
after he
okay.
leaves WandaVision.
Okay, I do remember that. Interesting. Now, for the final one, this one people might laugh at me for, but Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm sorry. Okay.
Wow! we got some interesting stuff.
I know. This one I had to think about so hard. I was running through stuff, and I just remember growing up, watching the games, all the content come out, and then when they kept announcing, movie's going to come out, and it never did, finally does. And I know people have their gripes about it. I do too, but it's just so much fun, so nostalgic, and just I loved it. It was so much fun.
Good, I love it. Is it Matthew Lillard?
Yeah, Matthew
Yeah.
Lillard.
He is one of the goats in my eyes.
yeah.
All the way
For
back
sure.
to. I goat him on his portrayal of Shaggy in
my
the
gosh.
Scooby-Doo movies.
No doubt.
But
Yes,
Matthew
yes.
Lillard, what a legend.
Exactly.
So
But
you're probably super excited for the sequel then.
I am quite excited. I've seen the teaser trailers. I'm waiting for it to officially release. Seems like they're doing a really good job. I've seen some of the animatronics they've made for it.
Toy Chica.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
But it's gonna be a fun time going back into theaters. Hopefully, it's not another chicken jockey moment, but
Oh God.
we'll see.
Chicken jockey. Yeah. All right, those are some awesome top fours. I love how unique they are. Like, usually people like give the basic answers like, "Oh, I like Inception," or "Oh, I like just your basic cinephile movies or whatever."
Dark
but-
Knight. You know,
Dark
that's
Knight.
mine.
Yeah, literally in mine. But no, that's unique, and I dig that. I dig it.
Heck yeah.
I like it. Thank you.
All right, well, Connor, I'll turn it over to you for.
This is our time for the prime poster reveal, and maybe it's a little over dramatic. The poster I'm going to show you, we just didn't have any other options.
I'm excited.
In a very good way.
Oh.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go. I love that one. It's so good.
Revenge of the Sith. Back at it again. Oh, my gosh, dude. There's
on National Star Wars Day, I don't know how you don't put the greatest poster, the greatest movie ever made up there.
Yeah.
100%.
Now I did want to do it last week with its release, but I thought Star Wars,
Gotta do it on the Star Wars Day.
on Star Wars Day. But the thing I love about Darth Vader, and I think we've talked about this before, Darth Vader, for me, similar to Thanos, and maybe this is a hot take, I love Thanos because I think his character is tremendous, and he's not a villain that I ever hated. I know so many people, like, they were like, "Oh, Thanos broke my heart by snapping his..." Anyway, like, I love Thanos, and Darth Vader is a character that you see that and you go, I love Darth Vader. I know what he's going to do, and I know that he's the villain, but he is a villain that you can root for, and it's so interesting that I think that's what's made him an all-time great.
I mean, like, who didn't like scream and shout when you saw him in Rogue One in the hallway scene? I mean,
That hallway
seriously.
scene is one of the greatest Star Wars scenes out of anything.
Ever.
I agree, 100%.
100%.
It's flawless. It's perfect. Like, it captures just how scary Darth Vader was for audiences back in the
Just like this poster.
Exactly. Yep.
No, just looking at the poster itself when you first brought it out, just chills instantly. You see Darth Vader and, of course, Lord Vader before the change. You got the duel in the background. Just best aspects of that whole movie. I love it.
They even got the invisible hand in the top right corner.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even catch that.
Grievous's ship.
Oh, yeah, that's
Good
right.
on ya. I just, man, and we'll get to this when we talk about what we watched. On May 4th, I always watch Star Wars 3. Every May 4th, I watch Star Wars 3, and I'm going back and I'm just paying attention to the details. And but you just hit the nail on the head. The details of this poster, and just, oh man, we'll get to this later because I'll fanboy because you guys know this is my all-time favorite movie. But I love the poster and the point that Anakin is centered because that is, that's who's underneath the mask. But and we'll talk about it. We referenced Kenobi, and there was a moment when Darth Vader had literally killed Anakin. Like there was no more Anakin. So we'll get into it. But I just didn't see another option other than this poster. I had to put it up there.
Had to. It's a great poster, and I love how like unique the art style is because a lot of posters these days, like how we talked about, they're just floating heads, and they suck. We hate the floating heads, but this one actually has so much like heart and soul put into it. It's just
Now we just got to get Star Wars on the Wheaties box, right?
Oh boy.
Whoa, okay, yeah.
Just kidding.
Last thing, I also love almost the red accents. Like it's not
Yeah.
your traditional just pure black. Like you
Yeah.
can tell the red accent. It's just
Referencing to Mustafar. So.
exactly. Just all in all, one of the greatest posters I've ever seen.
Yep.
And it's a 20-year-old movie.
Yeah.
Like that's how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, when they re-released it, it did the best at box office that movie re-releases have done. Like, I think it set a record, right, for like the highest-grossing re-release.
Yeah, I can't remember the number, but it did break the record for the most theaters that hosted it, and
Yeah.
that was like 2,800 theaters
Wow.
that got it. So that's
Yeah,
crazy.
crazy, and it bumped the official box office up to like 900 million, I think is what it was.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like almost made $1 billion, which is crazy. Oh,
So I was just wondering, why do you guys think they did a 20th instead of like a 25th? Any guesses? Because I think that's kind of interesting that we don't see a lot of 20th,
Yeah.
except for this year we saw Pride and Prejudice 20th,
Yeah.
and now Revenge of the Sith 20th.
The only thing I can think of is maybe to kind of get the ball rolling on next year introducing. Is it next year is Starfighter and Grogu or Grogu?
Grogu is next
is
year.
26
Starfighter
and
is
then
2027.
Starfighter 27. So maybe to get the ball rolling, it's a good question.
I can see
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I also think maybe it's just because like I feel like not a lot of movies are coming out that are doing good at box office.
Okay.
So Disney's like, oh, we need a way to make money. People love Revenge of the Sith, so they're like, let's just do it right now or something.
Yeah.
Because wasn't the showing? Because I know they brought Return of the Jedi back to the theaters. Was that the 25th anniversary they did for it, or
Yeah, good
Do
question.
you
I don't know.
mean Phantom Menace?
was it Phantom Menace actually?
yeah.
Brought it back
That's
last
right. It
year,
was
and
last year.
That's
That
right.
was
Phantom Menace
tw-
was
that was
20
25th.
years ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it was 99, so 2020. Oh yeah, 2024.
Oh yeah.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
That's
I would
right.
think it's the 25. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They just completely skipped over Attack of the Clones.
Which, no offense, like, love that movie to a point, and we'll get more into it. Best part about it, Battle of Geonosis. That's pretty much it.
yeah. Ooh, we are going to get into that.
Okay, now it's on to our news. Ozzy, do you have any news?
Yeah, I just have one little thing real quick. Let me get it up and going real quick. Okay, so there it is. IGN posted this a couple days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. Wednesday season 2 starts August 6th, and that's gonna be part 1, and then part 2 is gonna come out September 3rd.
So excited.
I just think that this is a good thing to talk about on news because this is Netflix's one of their best series that they put on, most watched next to Stranger Things, Squid Game, and yeah, now Wednesday.
I've never watched it.
Oh, I'm in that boat too, but I've heard great things. So tell me, like, because you've watched it.
I have watched
So
it.
yeah, tell us, like, I've heard great things. What is it that is so good about it? Just maybe in a general sense.
It just might be my own personal taste, but I'm an absolute like sucker for Tim Burton. Like he's one of my favorite filmmakers. I just love his whole gothic art style, how everything's like dark and like macabre or whatever. But Wednesday, it's just like almost like a high school drama, but with like Tim Burton characters. And it's got that horror element to it. I never really watched The Addams Family, but I was like, well, I think Jenna Ortega's hot, so I'm gonna watch this just to try it out. And yeah, it was actually really good. I think I would give it like overall like an 8 out of 10. It was very enjoyable.
I really do appreciate it too. Like I've only seen it once through.
Yeah, same.
But I'm the same thing with you. I love the dark series. I like horror. I like the character Wednesday because I have seen the Addams Family, different versions here and there. And Wednesday's just a great character. And I'm mostly excited for season 2. I think it'll be better than season 1 because Jenna Ortega is saying this is going to be darker, and we're going to see what Wednesday is really going to be like.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
I'm
I'm
like,
excited.
I'm all in. Let's do it.
And what's her name? Who played the werewolf girl? She was really good in it. She was also in the Minecraft movie.
Oh, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but she was really good in it. But yeah, I would recommend you guys watch it. Yeah, coming up with season 2. Yeah.
Okay, I'll add that to my list.
Other news, we got our first look at Avatar. Let me see if I can find the picture real quick.
Avatar 3, Fire and Ash.
Yes, Fire and Ash.
this December, right? I
coming December.
I still can't like wrap my brain around that.
The 19th.
Especially in the consideration that when was Way of Water
2022.
I'm like, because we were talking at work yesterday here at the theater. We were talking about 3D movies, and I was like, I'm pretty sure the last 3D movie was Way of Water that we had played.
Yeah.
But I remember
it-
you and I went in together, and the 3D was breathtaking.
I loved it.
It was amazing.
All right, so here is our first look at Neytiri.
Neytiri. Dude, she is going to be a baller in this movie, dude.
Zoe Saldana.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
I have some hot takes about Avatar that I'll share on a different episode when we have our Avatar special.
That's
but
fine.
I'm glad you guys think it looks good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it does at the box office.
Have we all seen Way of Water?
I have not.
There's no real spoilers in it, are there?
Okay. Just at the end, I don't know if I could. I don't know. Are you gonna watch it eventually?
I might eventually, but
Okay.
I'm not too worried about spoilers.
Okay.
So do not
so
worry about
at
that.
the very end of this movie, towards the end of the movie, her oldest son dies.
Okay.
And so
That was brutal.
So that was crazy. But this movie, I'm excited for this one because she's gonna go rage. She's gonna rage
Oh
in Fire
yeah,
and Ash.
yeah.
Because so they showed us CinemaCon, not Comic-Con, CinemaCon at Las Vegas, a little video clip of Fire and Ash, and then Jake is trying to talk to Neytiri, say, you can't stop, how do you say, stop acting like this. Like, as in, she wants to kill and kill and kill because she's still raging about her eldest son dying. So
Interesting. Well, and especially in the sense of we kind of forget that Jake is human turned. Remind me what's
they're
their like
called-
race called? Do you remember?
the Na'vi.
The Na'vi. So Jake is human turned Na'vi. She is pure Na'vi. And so these things that maybe we equivalent to human emotion, it's like, well, those things don't exist. They may not be in that wire. That's why like dogs act so different than humans, because they literally don't have human tendencies, humans written, into their very being. So the Na'vi, she's probably really, digging into her very being. So it's interesting.
And then the final battle of Way of Water, you can see her just going absolutely nuts and just not having any mercy towards anybody because of the death of her son.
Yeah.
And that's going to continue into Fire and Ash. So,
Oh yeah.
yep.
Yeah, could be good. Could be. I don't know.
It moves back to the. I'm really glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm really glad you guys are excited for
You
it.
have no idea.
Because when we talk most anticipated, I don't even know if that one makes the list for me. But I'll still probably go watch it.
I got you.
Even though it's going to be almost 3 hours long. But
Worth your money, by the way.
we'll see. All right, so we just want to give a quick spoiler-free review of Thunderbolts. Who wants to kick that discussion off?
Can I start with this?
Uh-oh.
You'll appreciate this.
Can we have a vote? Just kidding.
Yeah. Should be like, no, just mute him.
You'll appreciate this. I had a friend of mine who asked me about my opinion, and I was talking to him about it, and he's like, "So you hated it?" And he keeps saying, "You hate the movie." You hate the movie. I didn't hate the movie. What it comes down to for me, and I'm just gonna say this, and then I think I'll hand it off to you guys, is I didn't like it particularly because it just wasn't what I wanted out of the movie. I had seen limited trailer bits. I had collected, or not collected, but I had seen the posters, as they were released. I had built up this idea or this image in my mind of what it was going to be. And for me, it just didn't hit. So it's so funny. I want to put that out there because I didn't hate it. It just was not what I wanted out of that movie.
Yeah, Logan, you want to talk about what you thought about it?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually just first time watched it last night with my brother here. And, I'd seen the trailers. I was, looking forward to it. It looked good, but with Marvel kind of nowadays after Endgame, I feel like it's kind of gone downhill. So my expectations weren't too high. But honestly, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was wonderful, just with everything, how they portrayed the story and, of course, avoiding spoilers. Definitely, I would suggest everyone go and watch it if they get the chance. I mean, if you want to wait until it's out of theaters, go ahead. But I loved it. I definitely would look forward to watching it again if given the chance. But, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and I understand that, seeing the movie.
Well, and I wanted to add, the funny thing is I don't regret seeing it, and I think everybody needs to see it once. Like, I would definitely 1,000%, if people said, oh, I'm not going to waste my time. It's not a waste of time. It just wasn't my favorite, and I don't think I could see it again. But I did. I think I said this in our out of theater review. I know why people love it, and I think it's going to do really good.
I think the first day it's on the Box Office Mojo. It made like 31 million in one day.
Yeah, which is really good.
Which is insane.
Wow.
I think it was the Friday is what they said. It was the
Yeah.
Friday. It was like 31 million.
I think it's projected to get up to I think it was 80 million this weekend.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Captain America 4 made about 88 million
The
on
first
their
weekend.
first weekend.
Yeah, I feel like with how unfortunately bad Captain America was, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to go see Thunderbolts, which is a shame because Thunderbolts is significantly different than Captain America.
Totally,
Yeah. You've probably all seen my quick out of theater review, but I absolutely adored this movie. It's actually, I was doing some thinking. I made the whole MCU ranked list, and this one actually ranked number 3 in my list all time Marvel.
I thought it was 4.
No, that's
Gotcha.
just crazy because
Nice.
I was like, yeah, I just connected personally with this movie, and it was just like incredible. I loved every single part, and I rewatched it, and I still like. I think I liked it even more on a rewatch.
Nice.
Like it's just incredible.
That's great to hear. Because I want to go rewatch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gave this a 9 out of 10. This is in my top 10 favorite Marvel movies. This is my number 6. It did not quite make top 5 for me because there is a few I'm like, I can't pass on that one. And one of them is No Way Home. So,
Yeah.
but what really, really got my attention of this movie was the character development.
Yeah.
Because every single one of these characters has gone through hell. Like, seriously. Like, no one is perfect in this movie. The characters, they're just like, what do I do now? And then we were talking about this before the podcast, Sean. But yeah, Yelena's monologue in the
my
opening
gosh.
scene, dude.
So good.
So good. So good.
That monologue just perfectly captures the like someone being burnt out and depressed. Like no spoilers, but she talks about how like lonely she is and stuff. And it's just like when she was speaking about it, I'm like, that's kind of how I felt before. And it's just like, it just all felt so real. This whole movie just felt so real, even though it's some fantastical superhero movie.
Yeah. And like in a way, it's similar to the Batman with his opening monologue, right? It's just like it just captures your attention.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, let's see where this goes. The writing was great. Like I said before, like the writing wasn't perfect for all the characters, but for the majority, like the main characters, it was great. The dialogue was great. Jokes landed for me. Me, my brother, my dad, we were laughing throughout the entire film, dude. It was great. And then the message, perfect.
No, 100%. And same with the jokes. Me and my brother, we were laughing quite a bit last night. And also, that is when you're talking about the character development, that is one thing I mostly look forward to in shows. It's like, the writing could be a little rough or the dialogue, it's a little, they kind of have to work their way through it. But if there's good character development and you see the character either change for the better or for the worse, but it's substantial there, I love that. That's what I mainly look forward to with the characters.
And I think that's the reason why we love Revenge of the Sith so much, because the character development that we see through Anakin, it's insane. Yeah.
About the character development, like, and that's the great thing is I could sit up here and tell you that I loved the character development as well. I loved the characters, and I thought everybody nailed it. The one I didn't love, and maybe you guys agree, disagree, I didn't love Ghost even being in the movie because I just don't think she had like a place all that well. But I loved Bucky. I loved Elena. I loved Red Guardian. I did have a follow-up question for you. Well, for all of you. Did you think what did we watch that Instagram reel on, the practical effects?
Yeah.
Did they hit for you like you were hoping?
100%. I felt like there wasn't a single scene in that movie where I felt drawn out by the CGI. I felt like I was actually like in the world, and all the effects were like in the world, and it felt real. Like there's a stunt where someone jumps off a building, that was real. There's like a building exploding, that's all real. And it just like when directors use practical effects, it just helps engross you in the movie even more. And I felt like through those practical effects, I just got lost in the movie even more. In a good way, not in a bad way.
Yeah, excellent. I was curious. I must just not have a good eye because I was watching. I was like, okay, like there's definitely some moments where I was like, okay, that's really cool, and there were other moments I was like, oh, like I can't share it here. I know you guys all know what I'm talking about. When Bucky does his thing in a certain chase scene, and I think we talked about this on the out of theater review. The funny thing, and this is probably how I would like sum up my viewpoint of it, of the 20 minutes that I loved of this movie, I just wished that 20 minutes, like the very first, from probably the opening monologue to, and again, this is non-spoiler, so I think I can kind of phrase this in a way, from the opening monologue to when we get to see all of them, not all of them, but most of them together in the first 15, 20 minutes, and when they're kind of going back and forth at it, that's the movie that I wanted for 2 hours. So when I didn't get that level, in my opinion, that's where it just, I drew away from it. But of the 20 minutes that I'd said I loved, and like Bucky, like that was peak cinema for me. That was some of the best Marvel I've seen in a long time, possibly ever. Like, I loved Bucky's character and some of the stuff he did. I was like, please just keep it going. And I just, for me, it died off. But again, I know why people love this movie, and I thought it was a great all-around dialogue, practical effects, character development. For me, it was the story that dropped off, but I understand why people love it, and I have no disrespect to it. I think people love it for a good reason, and I understand why you guys like it for sure.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I will say, going back to your critique of Ghost, I'll have to disagree with you on that.
Oh, really?
One, because,
Okay,
I wasn't huge on her character in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and so
She is 10 times better in this movie.
exactly
than Ant-Man.
hearing her come back, I was like, nah, like I was kind of like, she's not that interesting. But then when she came back and the way she had chemistry with like all the other characters, like it was just so cool to see her again, and like actually like seeing her use her powers like for cool stuff instead of stupid stuff like Ant-Man and the Wasp. But yeah, that was just my thoughts on her. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I got you.
Any other thoughts?
No, nothing in specific. Kind of, I did like Ghost a lot more in this. I've always been intrigued by her character when she was first introduced in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I wondered what officially happened to her afterwards, because we all know Ant-Man and the Wasp, she wasn't necessarily cured, as we know, but I guess, I think her name was Janet. Was that her name? The Mom of Hope?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that was her, Janet. She, like, helped her stabilize it.
Janet Pym. What was her name?
And
Anyway.
I think it was
Michelle
Hank and
Pfeiffer.
Janet.
Michelle?
Michelle
But she helped her like
That
control
white
it, or I don't know, just be able to not constantly phase in and
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So
and we
seeing
never
where
hear from her, yeah.
no, she just disappeared, and then all of a sudden, boom, she appears in this. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
she's here.
That's
But
true, yeah.
She was good. I liked it.
Because Ant-Man and the Wasp, was that 19?
It was
2017.
it was
No.
in between.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
No, 2018.
Yeah.
Because it was in between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yes.
It was the summer after Infinity War.
What?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
Well, because you have Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then you have Captain Marvel in between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, but like, so, because I remember I went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I was like, yeah, this is good because it's a happy, fun movie. You know, I was, I think I was 12 at the time, so I was pretty young. And coming off of Infinity War, like, Infinity War wrecked me, seeing my heroes just die on screen like that. And so I was like, hopefully Ant-Man and the Wasp is a bit of a change of pace. And then that end credit scene hit, and that same exact feeling came, and I'm like, oh yeah, we lost last time. Like, it's a real thing. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy. Oh man, so good. Peak Marvel.
Can we just go back to those better days? I'm
Hey,
ready for
it's
it.
starting to look good. I don't want to get too hopeful, but
We'll get into that in the spoiler.
yeah, the spoiler review.
Well,
Can't wait.
Speaking of that, real quick, my cousin was laughing. I know you guys have all seen it. Do you think Thunderbolts is the we're so back, and then the is Fantastic Four gonna keep it, or is the Fantastic Four the next Marvel is dead, and then Avengers Doomsday,
the
we're
worst.
so back, and then we're so dead?
I don't know. I think if they keep riding this high, I think we might actually be back.
Honestly, it's hard to mess up a movie where it's Galactus unless he's like a storm cloud.
Oh my gosh.
But if it's comic accurate Galactus, it is gonna be so hard
Yeah.
to get this movie wrong.
And we all
So,
know he's comic accurate because we've seen the trailer.
we all know what it's
But-
gonna be.
We've
yeah.
seen the back of his head, his feet, his shadow, and I
Dude,
like.
that scene where his feet showed up at the end of the newest trailer. I loved it.
I do like how they're not spoiling all of him.
Oh,
Like they're
yeah.
not just showing his full face. I like how they're just teasing. It's like, you know, he's here. He looks good, but you don't know exactly what it is. Do we know, like, which actor is portraying him or voicing him yet?
I don't
I don't
Or
think we
so.
do.
Yeah, I don't
I think
think
they're
so.
keeping everything a secret about him.
Probably
Yeah.
Andy
That's-
Serkis. Let's just be real.
I wouldn't mind.
No, I wouldn't either.
Sounds like Gollum.
I just hope it's not gonna be a MODOK situation
Where
where
it's
he
just
looks
CGI
good and then you see his face, you're like, what the flip is this?
Yeah.
So
Modoc's butt cheeks and freaking Ant-Man 3. Oh my gosh.
Good old Quantum
but
Mania.
since it's an iconic villain like Galactus, I don't think they're gonna wreck it. So.
No, I don't think so.
And I really do hope they continue to ride that high because Thunderbolts was the thing that was like, okay, I'm putting my trust back in you guys. I feel confident. I'm happy to keep watching. If Fantastic Four keeps it that way or higher, I'm definitely back, and I'm definitely gonna watch some other things to catch up for Doomsday.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like I feel like with the end credit scene of Thunderbolts, not gonna say anything about it until our spoiler review, but I haven't felt this way about the hype for Marvel since Prime Civil War leading into Infinity War. Like the hype for
The high.
the high and the hype for the
Yeah.
future of Marvel is higher than when it was for like Infinity War and stuff. Like it's up there. Like I'm so excited to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because I had the same feeling after leaving the theater after Thunderbolts. I'm like, okay,
We're in.
I'm ready. Yeah, like we were saying, like let's go.
Let's go. Like bring me Fantastic Four as soon as possible. I need it.
If it's any consolation, I also said, "Oh, get me to Fantastic Four because that movie wasn't good." No, I'm kidding. So at least we're all excited.
Yeah.
Because I will say I am very excited for Fantastic Four.
I feel like I'm Thor in Infinity War when he's like, "Say, bring me Thanos, dude. Bring me Galactus.
Bring me
I am
Galactus."
so excited.
We should put that on a T-shirt.
I'll make it.
Alrighty, next part of our podcast, we are going to be doing a tier list of all the Star Wars projects.
Oh, really quickly, while we're pulling this up, this to me is like I almost said stars, which it is stars aligning, but Star Wars. This really is like stars aligning because what are the odds that the year that we started our podcast, and we typically always film on a Sunday, so we're filming on May 4th. What are the odds that May 4th falls on a Sunday and it fits perfectly with our schedule?
And the
You
year
know
that
what I mean?
Revenge of the Sith got
And
re-released.
like it is the stars aligning. I just have to put this out there. Just you guys are going to be in a lot of control of the rankings because right there, right now, Star Wars episodes 1 through 9 are all S's. They're my top 9 movies of all time. So don't let me. You guys put the episodes where you want because they're all S's for me.
I'm definitely going to have to be fighting you on a couple of those, but I agree with you for the most part. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And this is all. This is TV shows included.
So this is everything.
Okay,
Star
cool.
Wars, except like some specials and stuff. But
Okay,
like
cool.
for the
Oh, come
majority,
on.
it's everything.
Star Wars, the
canon.
Christmas special?
Yeah.
You don't have that on there?
Oh,
can't
get
say
it
I
out.
watched
Get it out. 0 out of 10. No, just kidding. Okay. First off, we have Star Wars: A New Hope.
Oh, well, obviously,
S
yes.
tier. I would say
That's
S tier.
my top. That's my second favorite
Yeah,
movie.
so-
So
so
Pretty
good.
sure that's easy to just put into S tier.
For sure. It's the staple. It's the first one that ever came out. It's what introduced it. And I believe when it first came out, it was actually just named Star Wars. It wasn't
Yes.
even A New Hope until they decided
Yeah.
to keep going.
Yeah, and like I kind of want to talk about what is your guys' experience with A New Hope? Like,
I've always watched it on VHS, like in one of our bedrooms. I don't know, I can't remember which kid bedroom it was, but we always had that tiny little TV with a
Yep.
little VHS,
Yeah.
and it was always either A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi. But like A New Hope was always there on.
Yeah.
So
My thing that I would say about it is first and foremost, again, it is mind-boggling. That movie came out in 1977. Yeah. Like, we are talking, the 50th anniversary is in a couple years. So that movie is so ancient. When I first watched it, you'd think, and this is kind of, we were talking about with Return of the Jedi, you would have thought as a kid, because I probably first watched it when I was, I don't know, probably not, 8, 9. You'd think an 8 or 9-year-old would be bored to death and be like, wow, this is really old and really bad. But it's just so good, and just everything about it is just absolutely amazing. But I think they hit the nail right on the head perfectly with you get an early, quick introduction of Darth Vader.
oh yeah,
And like we said, and my mom talks to me about this all the time. If I had, me personally, if I had one wish, I wish I could go back and wipe my brain of all Star Wars and watch Star Wars 4 for the first time ever, not knowing who Darth Vader is.
Oh, yeah.
That benefit, I remember, and we'll get to this in Empire Strikes Back, and even James brought this up when we had him on. That was one of the most, when he says, "I am your father." No, sorry, he didn't say that. He said, I'm trying to remember what the exact line is, because he never.
no, I'm your father.
Oh, is that what he said?
yeah, he doesn't say Luke like everyone
Oh,
thinks.
that's what I was. Thank you. But the thing is, like, that was cinematically life changing. And if we could go back and I could erase my mind and watch it for the first time ever, not knowing who he is and who he becomes, oh man.
And there's one thing I gotta say. I don't know if it's just some collective memory thing, but I swear all kids born now somehow know about that little
Yes,
thing. It's like
they
everybody
do.
just knows Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Yes.
And I don't know it because I don't remember the time, because I remember the first time I watched him, but somehow in my brain I'm thinking, oh, I already knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father somehow. Why do I know this, or how? It's just strange in that way to be like this huge, like, what was it, like, what do you call it, switch up of the century, or just big moment. And now everybody just kind of knows it without even watching it.
Yeah, no, it's weird because Austin and I work at an elementary school, and their kids, they're like, oh, I've never seen Star Wars. And I'm like, you've never seen Star Wars? Like Darth Vader, the guy in the suit? And they're like, yeah, isn't he like Luke's dad or something? And it's like, how do you know that?
Your guys' parents are failing if you haven't seen Star Wars. Like, they shouldn't be parents.
But no, this is just, again, and we talked about it already. It has stood the test of time. And again, this is going to be another shout out. This is playing at a Bravenel Hall with the live symphony in June. Oh man, I am going.
A New Hope is?
New Hope.
Oh, that's right.
Dude, if they did Empire, I'd be there. But I know it's expensive, so I don't know if I can make it to New Hope.
So,
Just one more thing I want to talk about New Hope. A lot of people are like bagging on the Ben Kenobi Darth Vader fight. Honestly, there is a purpose behind that fight. Ben is stalling Darth Vader. You see that, like, if you pay attention, Darth Vader is going in for like the stabs and stuff, and Ben's just in full defensive mode because he's just trying to stall so Luke can go back to the Millennium Falcon and get out of there, because that's Ben's priority, is to get Luke safe. So I'm tired of the bagging of the Ben Kenobi Darth Vader fight in New Hope, because it is not a bad fight.
It's not.
There's purpose.
If you guys have a problem with it, just watch the Scene 38 reimagine. Like,
I was gonna say that is one
That's
of my
freaking
all-time.
good.
It is
Like,
amazing.
it's really good.
Have you seen it, Logan?
I have seen it.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but it was really cool to see that aspect. But same with how he's like, his mission wasn't to kill Darth Vader right there. As we know, in the past, like watching the Kenobi series now and all things like that, he's tried and kind of given up on that point. He literally is just trying to make sure Luke survives, because he's like, Luke is my mission now.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, and especially in the concept of, again, it's 1977, and Alec Guinness, as you can see, he was old. And speaking of which, and this is just more of like just intriguing fact, that because I remember my mom said in 77, Alec Guinness was the name. That's what got people to the theater. And now knowing Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford would later, just become Star Wars and be, the future of film for the next decade. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. I just love how. I just think the movie, for coming out in 77, is so impressive. Like on technical aspect, like that opening crawl of the words. How the heck did they do that back then?
No, seriously.
Like, I have no clue. And then the model work is phenomenal.
Yes.
Like just cinematography was great, and then just like how George Lucas created a world, and it makes you feel like it's not on Earth. It's like, wow, this is impressive. The droids were super cool.
Yep.
Lightsabers, like that was a new thing. Like nowadays we're like, oh, everything has lightsabers, some form of lightsabers. But it's like back then it's like, whoa, these people have swords made out of like lasers, and like it's just so cool. And like the opening scene where Darth Vader traps the rebel ship and boards it.
That was one of the best shots.
Yeah, and just like Darth Vader instantly was just menacing. Like within 5 minutes into the movie, this dude's bad. He's very bad.
The first thing he does, what you see him do, is choking somebody.
Yeah. And James Earl Jones does a phenomenal job. Rest in peace. But yeah, it's just that movie is just incredible.
Yeah, just like the camera, like underneath the Star Destroyer as it like flies by, dude. One of the best shots in Star Wars, really.
Yeah. And then we have the Death Star trench run, which I would say is probably one of the top 10 best scenes in all of cinema. Like, it's incredible.
I just love that moment. Luke gets into the trenches. He's flying. He's using his little tracker monitor thing. Out of nowhere, here's Ben's voice. Use the Force, and just he puts it away. Yo, what's wrong, Luke? It's like, dude, no, I got this.
Oh, yeah,
and he's getting there. He's about to get shot. In comes Han Solo saving the day in the Millennium Falcon. He shoots, scores, boom.
He shoots, he scores.
And just perfect shoot bang finish for
Oh
that
my
movie
God.
was
Yeah.
just incredible.
So good.
And like the buildup of the soundtrack, and then just goes like Highly recommend you guys if you haven't seen it. On Disney Plus, they do have a documentary of the creation of Star Wars, and they interview George Lucas, and you see all the behind the scenes stuff of A New Hope. I highly recommend watching.
I gotta
that.
watch that.
Big appreciation for Star Wars after that.
I love behind the scenes stuff, so I'll have to watch that. Okay, we got my personal favorite, Empire Strikes Back.
That's also my personal favorite.
I mean,
I'm right there
S
with you, man.
tier,
S
obviously.
tier above A New Hope.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
According to me, yep. That's my list.
I know. I would pull that up, but I've got a locked and loaded.
Oh
right
yeah,
in
you
here.
got your list.
No, you know what? You guys go.
I could talk about this movie for
No,
hours.
that could be a whole episode itself.
just Empire Strikes Back. I
Battle
love
of Hoth.
Oh my
One-
gosh.
I love the beginning of it. You just go and you see the Star Destroyer sending out the pods. You're on the ice planet. You see all this stuff. Just the change, because New Hope started on Tatooine, the desert planet. Now Empire Strikes Back starts out on Hoth, the complete ice planet, and just seeing everything there, getting ready for the ground assault. Just
And we have
phenomenal.
the giant AT-AT walker
Oh,
and the
dude.
snowtrooper armor. Oh my
Yes.
gosh! Like, one of my favorite scenes was like when the first what are the ships called? The little
Oh, I can't remember.
snow speeders.
yes,
Yeah,
snow
Snowspeeder,
snow speeder.
When he's flying across and he's like trying to find Han Solo and Luke, and he gets Han Solo's radio pickup and the music's blasting. There's like it's all sunny, and he's like, "Well, it's good that he said something like how he's happy to find him or whatever." And like that scene right there, I just love it so much because it's so like hopeful and stuff. You're like, "Oh, we're back in Star Wars," and
Yep.
then the assault of Hoth starts, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, we're
No,
back."
seriously. I love the beginning of that movie where like Luke gets stranded like in the cave.
Oh,
right?
the Wampa, dude.
Yeah, the Wampa. Oh my gosh. Okay,
It's scary.
And then, dude, I would say Han Solo has probably one of the best lines in all of Star Wars. Trying to go find Luke, and he's like, "Dude, it's too cold out there. You're gonna die." And he's like, "Well, I'll see you in hell."
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, that is a friend right there." Like, I love Han Solo in this movie. This is his movie.
Oh, and the chemistry between Han Solo and Leia in this movie
So
are
good.
so good. Like, oh, you scruffy looking nerf herder. Oh my gosh.
Who's scruffy looking?
This is a movie that I think is one of those very, very, very rare combinations of it is action packed, draws you in beginning to end. Like there just is no downtime. This
Yep.
movie is, and I think that's why people look at 4 and 5 and they're like, oh man, I just remember how amazing 4 was, and they're like, I can't. Oh, I feel like there's this allegiance to 4. It's like, oh, but it was the first one I ever saw. But man, it's hard not to say 5 is, and I have 5 over 4 as well. It's close, but just an all-time great. And obviously, spoiler if you haven't seen it.
Oh boy.
5 if you haven't seen these movies. Spoiler. When Han gets frozen in the what's it called?
The carbonite.
Yeah, the carbonite. Which, if I recall correctly, they froze him because they didn't know if they could get Harrison Ford to return for 6. Is that right? Have you heard that?
I have not heard that.
I haven't heard
I had read an article, so maybe I'm making it up, but maybe I did bad research, that they didn't know if he was going to come back for 6, so they didn't want to kill him off. But they were like, if we put him in carbonite and freeze him, and Harrison agrees to come back for 6, we'll thaw him out in 6. If he doesn't come back, we're going to leave him in carbonite and say, unfortunately, he didn't make it through the carbonite.
Can you
freezing.
imagine how different the movies would be if he stayed in carbonite or he just died after they freed him?
Crazy. And dude, like we haven't even talked about like this is probably one of my favorite scenes in all Star Wars is the Dagobah like training.
Oh,
'Cause,
gosh, yeah.
like I am the biggest sucker for Jedi training scenes, and this is the first movie they get to see actual Jedi training with Yoda and Luke.
Yep.
And dude, when he goes into the cave and he sees Darth Vader, and then he sees Darth Vader as himself, I'm just like, this is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That scene used to always confuse me. Like I never, for the longest time when I was younger, I never understood what is going on. Why is there Darth Vader and then all of a sudden it's Luke in the mask? I never understood it, but watching it as an adult, I get it now. It's manifestation because Dagobah was a planet surrounded by the dark side of the Force, which is why Yoda chose to hide there from the Emperor and Vader. And then this place was basically where you could go, and that was a dark side vision showing, hey, this is the future if you continue down your kind of fearful, arrogant path. If you don't listen and train, this is what will happen to you. And just seeing that, where the possible future and outcome of that, once I learned what it was, I've loved it ever since. It's so cool.
It's so amazing about the training. Like and you bring up the point. This is a first introduction. If you watch it 4, 5, 6, that we see Yoda, the great Yoda. We know who he becomes, but I don't know about you. It's a thing of when he's lifting the X-wing out of the water. It gives you this weird sense of chills in the way of you're like, this is Star Wars, and we all know, we've all done it. Every little kid's done it, where you walk over to the automatic doors and you go, like, but it's because we all want to be lifting the X-wing out, and we all want to be that Jedi, and the opportunities that they have to be together, Luke and Yoda, just again. Amazing movie, just all time great. This is my number 2 movie of all time.
I was gonna ask you what you have it on yours.
Yep, this is my number 2.
Yep, this is my number 1.
Yeah, for my Star Wars ranking, this is number 1.
Sorry, this is my 3rd.
Oh,
Yeah, this
okay.
is 3. I'll tell you.
Sounds good, yeah.
I'll tell you.
Like Empire Strikes Back, I have the 4K Ultra HD copy of it, so like the most remastered.
Yeah.
Some of those scenes on Hoth look like they were shot yesterday. Like
Really?
incredible.
Wow.
The upscaling, like the way they mastered it up to 4K, it looks incredible. The coloring's a little bit different, so like, but it's more of like a natural coloring. Like especially the Cloud City fight scene between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. It's a little more orange hue instead of a blue hue, but I'm like, it still looks so freaking good.
So
like
good,
Dagobah looked incredible. Yeah, everything's so good, and it's a masterpiece. It's objectively a perfect movie, and I'll stand on that. There's not a single flaw in that movie.
I love that movie.
I think it's like my 5th favorite movie of all time. Like it's in my top 5. I'm pretty sure.
Do you think? Because we had talked about this with Infinity War. We had said that Infinity War was the first time we ever saw the good guys lose. Do you think walking out of this movie, people felt that same level, that dejection of they're like, holy smokes, like they froze Han Solo. They kind of like Darth Vader cuts Luke's hand off. And you bring up the point of now that Luke knows that he's his father, like it just changes the scales of everything. So do you think they left thinking we just lost?
I certainly believe so.
Yeah.
I certainly felt that way first time
Because
I
the
ever
heroes
watched
are on the
it.
run. Yeah.
Yeah, I never really thought of it that way because like it's literally called The Empire Strikes Back. Like the Empire comes back and like screws everyone over, and you're like, what are you gonna do? Because Han Solo's gone. He was like one of the big heroes of the first one. Luke Skywalker's missing a hand. Yoda dies. So it's like
Yoda dies in the 6th.
I'm just gonna cut that part out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No. You're good. You're good. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, it felt like they lost. So yeah.
Some Star Wars fan. Just kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm fake Star Wars fan.
No, and you know what the crazy part is? We've been like, here's the best part of this take. We've been dancing around the core.
Yeah.
We see the most iconic Star Wars moment ever. And the thing about it that I will always love, and you kind of have already, now I'm like referencing it again. I'm like going to you back again like a third time. I love when Darth Vader looks at me and says, search your feelings, you know it to be true. And like this just sense of, which is so funny for this reason. You're talking about a galaxy of people. What are the odds that the ultimate arch villain is your dad? Like, you know what I mean? Like, in a galaxy of a bit of possibilities, that's not one that I would sit there and say, oh, yeah, I think that's my dad.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so for him to tell him to search his feelings and for it to be true, but just so good. This movie, oh, man.
So S tier.
So
Yeah,
S
S
tier.
tier.
definitely S tier.
This
yeah.
is actually the Star Wars movie I picked last year to watch on May the 4th because gosh, I just love it so much.
You mean you don't watch every single movie and show on the 4th?
Dude,
Like,
I don't got time for that, man.
I wish.
But okay, now we have Return of the Jedi. It's been so long since I've seen this one. I don't have an accurate take on if I like it more than A New Hope or not.
Here,
But it's still an S tier.
I say,
sorry,
this
here,
is
here
your,
come the
your
hot takes.
wheelhouse.
As I said earlier, this is one of my favorite top 4 movies. I say this deserves to be very top, better than Empire Strikes Back. And
for me, it is.
here is the reason why. Like, love Empire Strikes Back. We spent so much time on it. Something about Return of the Jedi, the way it starts, you know, back on Tatooine, we remember Han Solo was taken. The droids end up at Jabba's palace. The first time you see Luke again, sure, you see him in the hologram, but he shows up. And he just, the Force, you know, takes care of the Gamorrean guards, show up and fights the Rancor. Just out of nowhere, you see this change in him. He's not like this. He's not the whiny little kid you knew from Tatooine. He's this actual self-realized Jedi Knight. Yep. And then when you see that first green lightsaber,
Gosh,
loved it. Like, I love the blue, but the green is all-time
something
favorite.
about that green.
Yep. It's his. It's because we and that's why we talk about it. The blue lightsaber that he gets is Anakin's.
Yeah.
The green is Luke
That's his
Skywalker.
personal one.
And your point of just when you get to see him and he's in black cloak, and obviously we'll get to this in when we talk Mandalorian, but when you get to see him in Mandalorian and when you get to see him in Return of the Jedi, black cloak, green lightsaber.
Exactly.
Obviously modeling it after Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber from 3.
Yes.
You know, so a lot of similarities. But no, I agree. This is my second favorite Star Wars movie of all time.
Really? Oh, I'm interested to see
yeah,
what your first one is then. That'll be interesting.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, the little eyebrow raise. Look at the camera.
But I know it's like talking about the beginning of it is great, but just seeing, of course, when you get to the end of the film, when Luke goes and gets captured by Darth Vader to go see the Emperor, seeing him talk to Darth Vader and explain, I know there's that conflict in you. I know there's still good. And then you hear Darth Vader say, it is too late for me, son. Just chills. Every time I see that scene is just, you see him because you can tell there's still a little shred of Anakin in him. Or before you knew it was actually Anakin, like shred of good in him. And you can see Luke striving to bring that out of him. He doesn't want to kill his father. He doesn't want to do what the Emperor says. He wants to help him and save him. And just, I've always loved that. The dynamic between the hero and the villain of the story, and the hero is trying to save the villain, not just destroy him or defeat him.
Well, and especially in the sense of the grand scheme of the Emperor was he knew that Luke was the fulfillment of prophecy. Luke was stronger than Anakin, and his complete last step to the dark side would have been to kill Darth Vader, and the cycle would have recontinued. I had my cousin, he went and saw episode 3 when it re-released, and he texted me and he said, hey, oh, by the way, shout out Dallin. Sorry. And he was like, hey, help me understand, why did Palpatine keep Anakin after his legs were cut off and he's burnt to a crisp? And I explained to him, I said, the reason was because he was the perfect molded student. He was everything he needed his Darth Vader to be. And the Emperor's plan in 6 was to get Luke to kill Darth Vader and complete that transition and get not only a replacement, but an upgrade. And we see, you bring this up, Luke Skywalker in 6 is the reason that he is one of my all-time. Obi-Wan Kenobi's my favorite, and then it's Luke Skywalker. But Luke in 6, and then we see that Luke show up in Mandalorian Season 2. Luke Skywalker, green lightsaber, black cloaks. Man.
One of my favorite moments of Return of the Jedi was, during the last battle between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. It was when Luke is kind of like hiding from Darth Vader, just trying to stall from like fighting him, because like you say, he does want to kill him. And I feel like Luke knew that he could kill him, which is why he's like, I'm not going to do it, bro. But one of my favorite lines is when Darth Vader starts to search like his feelings inside Luke, and then he's like, bro, you got a sister. He's like, well, if you're not going to join me, maybe she will. I'm just like, oh, bro, like, dude, Darth Vader is insane. He would rather just ditch his son and go for his daughter. It's like, this is crazy.
And just, you see that snap in Luke. Once he
like,
mentions his
"Absolutely
sister,
not."
Luke's like, oh, heck no. And then he jumps right into it, kicks him down the stairs. And then another scene I've loved is near the end of the fight where he's really beaten down on Darth Vader. He ends up cutting off his hand. And then Emperor's like, good, kill him now. Luke looks down, sees the missing hand on Vader, looks at his own hand that was cut off, sees that connection. Then he's like, what am I doing? I'm following the same path. No, I'll never be like you. Just love those little scenes there. Yeah. It may seem to the average movie viewer insignificant or just like a little detail, those are the things that stick out to me so much in these movies that show all the changes, character development, as we talked about earlier, my favorite stuff.
Yeah. Question for the table. There's a moment where the fight ensues because, Luke's going to strike down the Emperor, and then Darth Vader pulls out his blade. I know movie got a movie, so obviously you can't kill Darth Sidious there, and because the battle wouldn't have happened. Did Darth Vader stop Luke from killing Darth Sidious because he was protecting Sidious, or he was protecting Luke?
Luke, yeah, because I feel like
I'm on the Luke side of this.
I am too. I thought, I just think that's so poetic. Like, it's amazing.
He could have
He
seen.
is the Dark.
Yeah.
Not Dark Lord. That's. I almost called him Lord Voldemort.
Well, pretty much he is.
He is the dark side. He's the
Yeah.
embodiment of the dark side, and he's like, I don't want to see my son go through this. I'm going to stop him.
According to
He
Rise of
doesn't care about
Skywalker,
Darth
he's
Sidious.
all the Sith.
Yeah,
So
I think it's kind of
crazy.
like the same because like what Darth Vader saw, if he's like, oh, if Luke kills the Emperor, he's going down the same path of when I killed Dooku, basically, kind of like that. But yeah, well, no, like my thoughts on this movie, the green lightsaber, my favorite lightsaber. Like that's literally one of the lightsabers I have from Galaxy's Edge. Like, and it's the coolest thing ever. Like, oh my gosh, I just love the green lightsaber. Always loved it. This movie, I remember just always watching it and thinking like, oh man, green lightsaber, coolest thing ever. That was like the biggest thing I remembered from this movie. And let's be real, Slave Leia. Well, let's be real here. We all know it. You're married. You can't say
I'm not
anything.
commenting. I'm not commenting.
Quick side note. Have you guys seen Friends?
I haven't. No.
Yes, I have.
There's a scene. I think it's is it
Rachel?
Ross and Rachel?
Ross and Rachel. Yes, I know this scene.
Ross is talking to Rachel, his girlfriend, and he's like, "Have you ever had any fantasies?" And he's like, "Well," and then it like cuts screens, and she's wearing the Leia, and he's like. I'll never forget that. That was one of my all-time favorite crossovers. Sorry, so unrelated. Okay, back to you.
But no, yeah, I just love this movie. Like, it's good, and I need to rewatch it to see if I like it more than A New Hope. But I think right now I have the rankings as A New Hope just a little more, but I don't know why. I don't know what I didn't like about it.
So, real question: are we agreeing to put it above Empire Strikes Back?
No,
or-
heck no.
Oh, come on.
That's what I say. It's a 2-2 split.
It's tied.
I understand,
I'm gonna
though.
let it go, but yes, this is my second favorite Star Wars. I love this movie.
So we'll see how I judge you on the first one then. No, I'm just.
I think
but-
you'll like it.
Okay, we got Phantom Menace, and I am going to put, I'm thinking B tier for this one.
I personally would go low A over B tier.
A, it's so
And-
boring. It's so boring.
People say it's so boring, but I love the beginning where they arrive. You see Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan doing their Jedi stuff. Yes, when they hit Naboo, the Gungans are hit or miss, depends on if you like them or not.
Yep.
But seeing them go there, rescue, and everything, just I enjoyed it, and seeing kind of the political side leading into that was super cool. But of course, best part of the whole movie, they rescue the pilots, they walk forward, doors open. Dun, dun.
Duel of the Fates.
Maul's there, activates a double-bladed lightsaber.
Okay.
First time seeing that, just everyone's jaw drops.
And like the timing of the soundtrack and like the blades coming out, like it's just it's perfectly executed.
Have you guys seen the video of? It says movie theaters in 1999 on the top, and the bottom that's a UFC fight with, I can't remember what his name is. They're like commentating, kind of like us. They're watching. They're like, blah, blah,
Oh, yeah.
I love that video. Yeah, the double-bladed lightsaber. And the thing about Darth Maul is that we never see anybody like him in the way of, he was perfect for the big screen in the way of, he's red and black with horns and double lightsabers. And the thing about, also his ability to, I can't remember who played him. Do you remember the name?
No.
He was the Toad in X-Men.
Yeah.
I can't
Anyway,
remember his name.
but
gonna look that up,
the thing
actually.
about it was, I believe he was like a trained martial artist or something. So the thing is, like, his body control and his movements were absolutely amazing.
Ray Park.
Ray
That's
Park.
right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
His portrayal was absolutely amazing. And yeah, you hit it right on the head. I am with you where, and we had kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
where I don't find it boring only because the dialogue has me. I am like eating every word of that dialogue. So I think it was so interesting. Love Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm not on the wagon of I don't like Star Wars because they killed him off. I'm not on that wagon personally. I thought he did what he was supposed to do. Liam Neeson's an all-time legend, and I love this movie too. That's why it's an S for me. But again, don't let that affect you. You guys get to put the
I would
you're
give
going.
this movie like a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
I have it as a 3 out of 5 as well.
Yeah.
I just think that, well, like the dialogue, it makes sense because it's the politics before the war, and that's what they really want you to understand. Is like there's going to be a war, and this is the movie that's going to lead into it, and with all the different politics and stuff like that.
It does have the podcast racing scene, but little Anakin's insufferable. I can't stand him. Slap that kid upside the head, dude. He's so annoying, dude.
I thought he was good for what he was given.
pod racing. Like, freak out of here, dude. Only good thing about pod racing is the Lego Star Wars level.
Let's be honest though, the pod racing sounds though that they made just yes, so nice,
So good.
But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where are we on the table as regarding Jar Jar? I'm just curious. I love Jar Jar.
Misa, a
everybody hates
fan.
him. Misa, a fan.
I enjoyed him to
Are
a
you
point
kidding
like
me? He's one of
he's
the
annoying
worst
in some ways.
characters out of any movie.
he definitely is annoying in some ways, but I find his comedic stuff quite funny, and my level of comedy is weird. Some people might say like me, the comedy I hate is Michael Scott in The Office. I do not like his level of comedy.
yeah,
I
okay.
find it awkward. Jar Jar Binks, I don't know why he's like clumsy and just, just whatever he does is crazy. I love it, honestly. I know people, hot take, everybody out there,
we're going
if you...
Michael Scott, one of the best comedy characters of all time.
I do not like his character. I'm sorry. I do not like it. Makes me feel uncomfortable and awkward. I'm like, I don't like this. It's just
Star Wars meet. It's the Star Wars meet office.
All right, so let's hear from you guys. Michael Scott versus Jar Jar. Who wins?
In a comedy battle.
Stand-up comedy right here.
Anyway, sorry.
no, yeah. So
I just had to ask.
Jar Jar for me, has flaws, but I did enjoy his character to a point. So, I did not
all right.
hate
Okay,
him.
so you have Phantom Menace as an S.
They're all as.
Okay,
So
you're
somebody
out of
doesn't
here.
count.
He's out of it.
So we got B.
I'm thinking more
You're
like
at A with
C.
it?
Low A.
Low A.
High C, low B for me.
So let's just put like I'm at a high B on this one.
So B.
Let's just do B tier. on
B
this one.
solid.
Okay.
B with a little asterisk.
Connor liked this movie.
Connor's ass.
We got the Attack of the Clones.
I love this movie. Now, I will tell you, right out of the gate, though, this movie has the explosion where they try to assassinate Senator Amidala, and then there's the awesome bounty hunter and the flying car chase scene. This is one of my all-time favorite movies for the purpose that this was the first Star Wars I ever saw in theaters.
Okay.
And my thing also of why I love this movie is because Obi-Wan Kenobi's my favorite character. This movie, for me, is almost the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I know there's a lot involved with other characters, but I'm like, he gets to take the reins on finding Kamino. And I love a good story. I love this movie because regarding Kamino, it gets erased from the Jedi archives. So he has to go. One of my all-time favorite scenes in all of the Star Wars is when he goes to talk to Yoda, and Yoda's working with the younglings, and he goes, Master Kenobi's lost a planet. Very embarrassing. But he has to go find a planet that's been deleted from the Jedi archives, which can't be done except by a Jedi.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, we've got red flags there. And the fact that what it comes down to full circle is this clone army was created to assist the Republic, and this is the same clone army that was created to assist the Republic that the Emperor uses to execute his plan. To me, it's flawless cinema when Obi-Wan and Anakin get a go and face Dooku, and Dooku just puts them in their place. Like,
Oh, yeah.
shout out! You brought up the Battle of Geonosis.
Yep.
Because we talked about baddies, Natalie Portman.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
This movie. Oh, and Jango Fett. I just, there is so much I love about this movie. But again, it does, for me, hold so much nostalgia because it was the first Star Wars I ever saw in theaters on the big screen. I love this movie.
Where is this on your top Star Wars?
Great question. Good question. Let me do this so we don't have to wonder. In order for me, 3, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1, 9, 7, 8. So
'Kay.
3, 6, 5, 4.
I'm happy with
5.
that. I'm happy with
this
that.
is top 5. This
Okay.
is my 5th. I love this movie.
Sounds good.
I think this one is significantly more engaging than Phantom Menace.
Menace.
There's a lot more enjoyable parts, and even though I cannot stand the scene where Anakin and Padme are having dinner together and like rolling around in the field, I'm like,
That's Connor's
What?
dream.
I have something. Oh, no.
You don't like the part
I have
where
something
he
about
force
that.
picks up the pear, cuts it, and then gives it to her? You don't like that part?
nope, I hate it.
Bro, that's every man's dream, I swear.
No, I appreciate this. I love that point because people have told me they're like, I think Hayden Christensen is so weird and awkward and the dialogue is horrible. The thing we're ignoring is this is a teenager hitting on we don't even know how old Padme is, but
She was 14 when he was 9 in the first, so 5-year difference at
Okay,
least.
yeah.
So
so
Attaboy.
so that's what I'm saying. He's 14 and she's 19.
yes, I believe so.
This is a 14-year-old rizzing up this 19-year-old senator.
So is Padme a pedophile?
Oh no.
It's complicated. Anyway,
This is Star Wars.
no, that is something.
This wasn't a galaxy far, far away.
And a
long time ago. Apparently the laws were different back then.
So, but no, I love it. And people have always asked me, they're like, how do you get through that dialogue? And it's because I think it is so true to a character. This is my personal opinion. I feel that George Lucas was willing to sacrifice people being uncomfortable to get an authentic character. That's why I hold it in esteem. And man, when he goes and slaughters the Tusken Raiders, the rage and the fury and the character.
That's my
and
favorite
I believe
scene.
They have the underlying dun 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 dun. dun.
Yes, when Shmi dies and he like looks up with the anger,
Yeah.
that's where that hits, and then he goes out.
I
The soundtrack to that scene is amazing.
Yeah. So I love this movie. But I'll put it this way. I definitely don't blame you. I know that's the number one gripe that people have. They're like, I just don't I think the dialogue is horrible and sand.
I hate Sam.
I definitely understand the dialogue was rough, but as you said, like, remember, this kid was born into slavery. He was a slave his whole life. Then out of nowhere, 2 Jedi pick him up and say, hey, yeah, we're going to take you into the Jedi Temple and train you. And their rules are strict, like no attachments, none of this. Like, you're basically sent to this academy for, I believe it was 5 years if he's 14, and just doing that. And then all of a sudden he sees this woman he saw when he was young thinking she was an angel. His brain's probably short-circuiting right now. Like, he can't think of anything.
So where are we thinking about putting it? I would put it in B if that was me.
S tier. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know, because I don't want to put it above Phantom Menace, because I love the Darth Maul, but then again with this, you got the
don't wanna
Battle of
put it above
Geonosis.
or below.
I don't know. I don't want to put it above, but at the same time, I'd say it's 6s for me. Like, it'd almost be on the same level with the differences.
Yeah, I would put this on B.
B.
Yeah.
Above or below Phantom?
I like this. Oh my gosh. I would say probably above.
I think it's just
Slightly.
yeah.
And I just want to mention this scene when Anakin's telling Padme all about what he did to the Tusken Raiders. And then this is when you first hear the Imperial March after he says he hates them. Chills, honestly. Okay. But yeah, I would say that'd be slightly above Phantom Menace.
Okay. We got Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. Go
Put it
ahead.
right
and
on up
you
there. Put it
guys-
right
you
on up
guys
there.
Throw on those mutes. Let's get some popcorn, some drinks. We're going to be here a while. Obviously, this movie is literally as fresh as it gets because this is what I did. At midnight, I threw this movie on and I stayed up and watched it, and then I went to bed. So it's brand new, fresh in my mind. Of all the things, I just want to start by hitting the point that Anakin literally saw in vision his mother dying, and then he gets secretly married at the end of 2, and he sees a vision of his wife who just confirmed that she is pregnant, dying in childbirth. To put into context, that would mess you up.
Oh, yeah.
So everything that happens in this movie is purely Anakin doing anything necessary to obtain this ability. And it's crazy because it is nuts as I'm watching this movie that the emperor literally looks him in the eyes and is like, this is me changing the wording, but he literally says, hey, go to the temple and slaughter all those kids. And he goes, I will do what you ask of me. Like the dedication to it is unbelievable. Everything about this movie I think we had talked about right from the get-go. There's this amazing battle scene. I love the General Grievous Kenobi rivalry, landing, getting put on the council because they want him to be the spy, going their separate ways, just every sorry, that was my Siri. Sorry. Everything about this movie for me is a 10. I think I'd said this before and I stick by it. This is the only movie I would give a perfect rating to. I have nothing wrong with this movie. And that's only touching, like we had talked about, touching the base of that is all actually I did want to make mention, like I had said earlier, when they execute Order 66 and you see some all-time Jedi, like you see Ki-Adi-Mundi goes down, Plo Koon gets shot down, when the clone starts walking to go shoot Yoda. By the way, we talked about adult Star Wars. Anakin literally decapitates Count Dooku, and Yoda decapitates in one swift motion. You want to talk about adult? Decapitation's pretty adult. I do not have the words. I love this movie. I'm going to start with that because that obviously is not even getting to the transformation and the final 30 minutes, or roughly from the time that Padme lands to the end of the movie, is the greatest cinema I've ever seen. To the point of where I was thinking of how I would express this to you guys. If I had to sacrifice everything ever created, if it was, you can either delete the final 30 minutes of Revenge of the Sith or delete everything ever created otherwise, I'd delete everything and I'd watch those 30 minutes on repeat for the rest of my life. I love this movie. It is S tier.
No, it is amazing. Like everything about it and the final fight scene, but just the way they introduce the movie, it shows you're in space. You see the big cruiser. You see Anakin and Obi-Wan flying around. They up and duck and instantly just chaos. You see the fight going on, ships everywhere blowing up. And I saw a really funny behind the scenes thing about it is apparently when George Lucas was creating this, he wanted the fight scene to basically have the explosions, including everything. And he used the phrase throw everything and the kitchen sink at it. They edited in a kitchen sink blowing up against one of the ships. I kid you not. If you go back and watch that scene, there is a kitchen sink flying and hitting one of the ships in that, which is hilarious from behind the scenes. But just from start to finish, it's just go, go, go with little bits of, dialogue and Obi-Wan coming to see Padme, Anakin talking to Yoda about his visions that are a little slower, but it's still constantly pushing forward the story of everything's starting to go downhill. It's starting to look darker. What's going on here? I've always loved that about it.
Yeah, I really like the opening scene. I think this is of course, the Obi-Wan versus Anakin is definitely the best scene in that whole movie. But I think, in my opinion, the second best is this is the opening scene, because if you remember in A New Hope when Ben Kenobi is saying, Anakin Skywalker, your dad, like he was the best pilot I've ever seen, ever been a partner with. And then you see that in Revenge of the Sith of him just going crazy in his ship. I don't know. I have this definitely a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. This is my third favorite movie of Star Wars, and I can tell you this, as a kid, I just replayed this movie over and over again when I was a kid. Also, the scene with Palpatine telling Anakin about what's his name, Darth
Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis, dude.
You ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Yeah,
So good.
And that's when it really started to connect with Anakin. That was crazy.
And about the soundtrack, if you go back, it's a more operatic tones of dun 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 dun. Like it's in the background. It is, oh man, so good, so good. Is it my turn again now? Did you need to go?
I think Sean should go.
I haven't said anything about it because I have certain opinions about
Oh, that's
this movie.
right. Yeah. Hit me.
So I just recently watched this with Logan last week when it was in theaters. And I always love this movie, and I think it's a great movie, but I just can't get past the writing. Like, it's so bad. Like, I see these movies with such engaging dialogue. And I brought this up last week. Like, I can't stand how badly delivered, because you have great actors in this movie. You have Samuel L. Jackson. You have Ewan McGregor. You have Christopher Lee. You have, who else is it?
Ian McDermott. He's Palpatine.
And like they're delivering these lines like a slate of like chalk. Like it's like they have no emotion in them. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think the writing was this bad while watching it. And it's like, I just got bored, which is hard to do because like the movie's almost straight action, but all the like dialogue scenes are just so boring and not engaging. And it's just like, that's just like my biggest critique with it. And like, I know it's Star Wars, but like, I don't know. I still love it. Like I'll still give it like a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I just can't watch it a lot just because of how like awful the dialogue is, in my opinion. It's just hot take, but oh my gosh.
But when Ewan McGregor gives that line, "You are the chosen one." Oh my gosh, dude, that hits. That hits right there in the heart, man.
Thank you for jumping to that because let's do this round 2. From the time that Padme lands and just them going back and forth, obviously, and irony's not the right word, but the crazy, almost, and I guess you still would call it though character development. The fact that it's Anakin who gets lost in his rage and is choking Padme is unbelievable that would happen, and thinking that, she's turning on him. I did think it was interesting. I had really never caught fully that this is going back earlier in the movie, and I thought, for me watching it, I think this was a seed that was being sown. Anakin wakes up from a night terror, and he walks out, and the first thing he says to Padme is, "Obi-Wan's been here." And he had stopped by that morning expressing concern right before he had left to go find General Grievous. And I thought that, to me, was George Lucas planting the seed that Anakin starts to really build a hatred. Because there's a part earlier where she says that she's pregnant. She goes, "Do you think Obi-Wan can help?" And he is disgusted by it. He's like, "No, we don't need anyone's help. We're not going to tell anyone." Like, these seeds were planted to build this hatred. And obviously Obi-Wan's doing what he knows needs to be done. And Anakin, I think, is just out of pure rage. Mm-hmm. I think he thought that he had lost Padme to Obi-Wan. It just fueled his rage. The lightsaber duel is the one thing that it is so unfortunate that we got to see the greatest lightsaber duel. I would say the greatest combat anything in any movie ever made. And then we'll get into it later that 10 years later, technology is even better, and we got the lightsaber duels that we got in the trilogy. But anyway, my point is, the sequel trilogy. But my point is, just to your point, the dialogue and the lines. Everybody knows that you were the chosen one. You know, you were supposed to bring balance to us. But even before then, the points of before they start their fight. You know, I brought peace, freedom, and the goal was for him to have so much power that nobody could harm Padme. That was his goal. And to see him transform from that to being the one that chokes her out. And then obviously we all know the Emperor using that to blame Vader on killing him and finalizing that rage and building the guy who he knew would build the Death Star that would reign with an iron fist that would, not that they knew about Luke and Leia surviving, but as we would later know, would be such a villain that would cut off his own son's hand. Like, that's who he was building. The fact that, and I think James had talked about Endgame in this degree, this movie is my number one because I thought they landed so perfectly combining what for me was the greatest series of all time and answering every question and building a perfect Darth Vader into what would be 4, 5, and 6. May the fourth be with you.
Just the scene, though, is after the whole fight, you know, his limbs are gone, he gets burnt, Palpatine arrives and is like, he's still alive, get the medical pod and everything. Seeing his transformation while they're working on him, seeing the limbs be put on, and then finally when you see that mask be lifted on his face, it shows the camera inside so you see it. The lenses go red and it's placed. That first breath, you hear the actual
because it goes dead silent.
Yep.
and you just hear that.
Music stops.
It's life-changing for me. I heard that, and I loved it. I'm just, this villain's finally here. He's been created. And then you can still hear that slight hopefulness is like, where is Padme? Is she safe?
Oh, that part
was brutal,
gives
man.
me chills. I think I did cry once watching that, and I don't cry in movies, and I was just like,
No, it's like, no, and he's just, I couldn't have. She was alive. I felt it, and everything just loses it and completely, you can tell he's crushing everything because his anger's released, and that's what officially
Then Palpatine
tilts the
smiles
scale.
oh,
as
yeah.
he's doing that.
Because he knew that was the final step,
Yep.
and he didn't even plan on that. Like, that was just something that happened. He's like,
That was a happy
he's
coincidence.
like, awesome, this is great. My plan worked even better.
Wow.
It's amazing, and I do love the funeral scene is breathtaking. Now, I've heard mixed points on this. I had read an article that I thought was interesting that when they did the funeral, she had delivered the twins, but in the funeral, she's still pregnant, and they had, when they prepared her body, they had filled her stomach with something to make it look like she was pregnant, as if the twins were in there and had died with her. So the Emperor had the Empire sent in a spy. They had thought that the twins had died with her. So I thought that was interesting.
Because Anakin knew she was pregnant. I don't know if he knew about the twins at least, but knew she was pregnant. So
About the baby. Yep.
afterwards, seeing the funeral, sending the spies, see that, it's like, okay, there's that's taken care of. There's nothing else to stop us. Lo and behold, Luke and Leia are somewhere out there, ready to, once they grow up, take over.
Yeah.
There's this one scene I was going to bring up as well that really stuck out to me. Oh, no, it was actually referring back to everyone's favorite character, Jar Jar. Now, this kind of goes back to Attack of the Clones. Do you believe Jar Jar is 100% like the catalyst that led into with the Clone Wars and the Republic falling? Because if you remember in Attack of the Clones, it was Jar Jar who brought up giving the emergency powers to Chancellor Palpatine at that time. Now, do you think if he had no part in that, do you think it still would have happened? Or do you think he was basically that catalyst that collapsed everything at that point?
Good question. I can kind of see both, where I think had it not happened, I almost wonder if it's happy coincidence again. Just like I wonder if it was like, oh, sweet, he's doing my bidding for me, because it is the point. And this is, I guess, the other thing I love of Star Wars in general, and you brought this up with one, is the politics of it. I really enjoy, Mace Windu literally it's Obi-Wan is talking with Anakin, and he's like the council is very concerned that he's still in office long after his term. Like, I think he still would have made it happen, but that's why I love Jar Jar, because I think he does what he needs to do. Like, he saves them in the first movie, thank goodness. Like, helps them, and then in the second movie, that is a great point. So, but anyway, and we really didn't even focus that much on, again, the lightsaber and just that final half hour, but I love this movie. But this is that movie for me that makes me love film. And for me, this is more than a movie. That is what it is for me. I love talking about this movie because people, family owning movie theater, the question I get all the time is, what is your favorite movie? It's about it's about the rays of the yore. What is your Star Wars 3 Revenge of the Sith? Like, I don't even let them finish. Like I know what question's coming. Anyway, so this is an S tier for me.
Agree, put it at S tier.
Yeah.
S tier behind the original trilogy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kidding. You know where I am at.
Okay. Now we have the Clone Wars movie.
Okay, I had talked to Austin about this. I love this movie. Now, here's the funny thing. This is an S for me because it says Star Wars in it. It's a feature-length film. I kind of have a rule. But now, the funny thing is, very similar. I remember seeing this movie on the big screen. I absolutely love this movie. I wish we got more Anakin and Obi-Wan live action, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen working together throughout the Clone Wars. We'll get to it in a second, but the animated Clone Wars series, I love Obi-Wan and Anakin working together because they really are a dream team. They are so powerful. They work together well. Regarding this movie, yes, but I genuinely do love this movie. This is an S tier for me, but that's because I love this movie and I love Star Wars.
I have no opinion on it because I think I tried to watch it like about when season 7 came out for Clone Wars. I went back and watched all Clone Wars, and I started with the movie, but I don't remember finishing it, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Because it's bad.
Okay, that's right.
No,
I would say, like, I don't want to hate on you, Connor.
no, you're good. No, I get it.
I
get it.
I would put this in D tier. I think Rada the Hutt is the worst character of all time. I hate Ahsoka's character in this movie.
Oh, yeah, Ahsoka's in it.
And it's just boring. Like, I've seen it once, and I don't have any want to see it again.
Is this where you first meet Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remind me, did this movie come out like after the first couple seasons of Clone Wars, or was this the very first?
I think this was the first.
Leading into the series.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Because, I remember watching the movie. Definitely some weak points. It was enjoyable to see the first time, like, a Clone Wars related thing, like talking about the war. But I would probably have to go with high C on that. Just wasn't my favorite. As you said, Rada the Hutt wasn't the best. And Ahsoka, when she was first introduced, I hated her character. She was very annoying. Was like, oh, I know everything and all that. So
Similar to Anakin in a way from Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. I did want to bring up, and this movie and the series, I forgot to make this mention with this episode 3. This series and this movie, we really get to understand Obi-Wan Kenobi, the negotiator. I love it. The negotiator. When General Grievous says that. I had this question. Not question, statement. I also love in 3, right at the beginning, General Grievous, to escape, he throws like that spear into the window. But I love that General Grievous knows Obi-Wan as General Kenobi because he goes, "You lose again, General Kenobi." And I'm like, it's so cool that that Obi-Wan Kenobi is a glorified war hero, like absolute legend. And I guess we kind of forget about that the prequels are based and focused on a literal war. Like Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 is like there is war, but I just love Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I'm just geeking out about General Kenobi and Obi-Wan and Ben and whoever you want to call him. I just love him so much. Anyway, continue. Oh, where are we putting it? Sorry, yeah. Where did you guys want it? You put it where?
You guys, really, because I
was
have an opinion.
I was kind of saying C myself, but I know you think S
throw it in
tier.
C.
With an asterisk. No, I'm kidding. I just love Star Wars.
Okay, Force Awakens. I will go and say this. This is my favorite out of the sequel trilogy.
I will
agree.
with that. Yep.
I can't, but I do love this movie. This.
I-
oh yeah. No. You go.
Okay.
You go.
I loved because it was. I think this was the first Star Wars movie I saw on the big screen. Because I believe I'm still quite a bit younger than you. I'm only 23, but
Wow. I am old.
We are.
We
old.
are old.
But when this first started announcing, I was super excited. I came in and I did enjoy it. I thought the characters they set up were really cool in that sense. Seeing Harrison Ford come back with as Han Solo and Chewbacca, things like that. I thought it was really great. There were a couple things, where I'm kind of like, I don't like that compared to the other movies and trilogies. But overall, I think it was a good movie. It was a good movie. Nothing amazing, nothing horrible, terrible. It was a good movie, enjoyable for the comeback.
Yeah.
I think they played it safe and it was smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically just follows the same outline as A New Hope, but I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I was gonna say it's a great formula.
But like, I'm gonna get flack for this. Rey's character is so insufferable. Like, and that's not just me hating on like a strong female lead. It's like, bro, like I don't know. I just don't like her character. I think she's annoying.
Han
And-
Solo is the best part of that movie.
Yeah. And I feel like they ruined Finn's character, I think. But I don't know. That's later down the road.
Later down the road,
Yeah.
Finn was awesome in
Yeah,
this movie.
he was good, and so was Poe. I loved Poe in this movie.
Oh yeah.
BB-8 was really cool. Captain Phasma was sick. Kylo Ren, he was good. I still think he has better moments in Last Jedi. I think that's what it's called. But Starkiller was sick. But yeah, I would probably put this movie high B. Probably. I think I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5.
Nice.
I think I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, this is an S tier for me. But I'll never forget this movie because it had been 10 years. I was because it came out December 2015.
Yep.
So
I was gone.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wow.
I was graduated from high school. I just graduated earlier that summer. A good friend of mine, shout out Steven, he'll know who I'm talking about. We went to the midnight premiere of this, and I'll just never forget. And it was an employee showing. So obviously we can, hoot and holler and do what we want. And I'll just never forget. Bah, da, da, da. Like as soon as that popped up, I hopped out of my chair and I am just doing the dance. And from the very beginning, I know people don't like this. For me, when Kylo Ren is holding the blaster
I liked it.
and
I
then
really
he
liked
lets it go eventually, like I'm with you though. I do really enjoy this movie. I don't have it above any. I don't have it in front of 1 through 6 because I think the original trilogy and the prequel are all better than the sequel trilogy. But yes, I do love this movie. And you brought up, I think in the safe part of it, it was just good to get Star Wars back on the screen. And they, again, between the Han Solo, his death is absolutely brutal. But I will say the thing that, A, I think it needed to happen story-wise, but also B, it was a thing of, I don't really think Harrison Ford wanted to do Solo more. So, and again, just talking about character building, I just thought it was so great for Kylo's character. And it also is the point, and this is to the table. Did Kylo ignite the saber or was it Han?
I got to say it was Kylo. I think Kylo was eventually
I like that take.
I think it was, Han Solo thought he was finally getting to him to a point. He's like, hey, listen, you don't have to be this. And he's, struggling. And finally he makes that snap decision. It takes over and he's like, boom, activates it, kills him. And in that moment, he's fearful, but he's like, I did it, finally. Of course, then he gets shot by Chewbacca, and then that activates the pain, the anger, dark side, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I do believe it was, in the end, his choice to activate it and kill Han
I like
Solo.
that.
I didn't know that was a debate.
Oh,
Me neither. I was like,
I always thought it was Kylo. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had seen it, and I guess it's been a while since I've seen this, so I'd have to see the exact scene. But I believe it never shows Kylo igniting the blade. because he says, I know what I need to do. I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And I know that there were people who were saying it was Han who ignited the saber, and he had held Kylo's face saying, if this is the path you need to take, this is the sacrifice I'm willing to make. Just make sure you get back. And that's why he made the sacrifice. I don't know, but I appreciate your take as well, for sure. Because I don't think there's any like camera angle of the show of him being the one.
No, because the hilts, they show them both holding it.
Yeah.
Like he hands it out, and then it's like that kind of forceful transition. He's like holding on to it. And he's like, it's fine. Then it goes up to their faces. Boom, it activates right there.
Yeah. So anyway, I love it again. And it was brutal. It was a major gut punch, but it was just, to me, it was just such good cinema.
I really like the redesign for the stormtroopers for
Yes.
the
Yeah.
First
They looked
Order.
good.
They looked
Mhm.
cool.
They looked good.
And like seeing like fresh looking stormtrooper armor and like the new weapons and stuff they had, it looked pretty cool.
They
The
actually
baton-
know how to
Oh,
aim.
The baton,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And the
When-
baton was cool.
Yeah, he's like,
traitor. Yeah,
Traitor!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters too, and it was like cool seeing it because I had never seen Star Wars in theaters before. But going back and rewatching it, it just doesn't feel like good Star Wars. I'd say like it's okay Star Wars, but not
Yeah.
like
My
prime Star Wars.
My biggest gripe is probably the most common gripe of this movie is the fact that Rey defeated Kylo Ren, who was trained by Luke from the beginning, and then you can pull out the fact that she's a Palpatine, and sure you can pull that crap out of your butt, but honestly,
Don't bring up that she's a Palpatine. Okay, anyways.
I would have preferred her to be a Kenobi, like the
No.
theories were saying. I would have preferred that because
No.
they could have done it with Duchess Satine. In the Clone Wars, like when we get there, but they had a past, chemistry, all that stuff. They could have said somehow they had a kid, and then later Rey was born. But
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I did not like that. How like I love the fight scene at first, Finn versus Kylo Ren. Super cool.
But like the lightsabers didn't do any damage that entire fight. Finn got slashed up the back and he's good as new. It's like
That's true, but
Yep, that
here's the
was
thing
odd.
though. What do you guys think about this? Is everyone, how you're saying like Rey shouldn't have won. I believe that, but they're saying, oh, but Kylo Ren had a blaster hole in his stomach. That's where it comes back to. They feed off the pain and anger. That's why he was punching his
Yeah,
wound
he was-
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
to
when he-
feed into the pain
that
to
hurt
increase
so bad
blood on the
watching
girl.
it. Yeah,
No.
that hurt watching.
He was trying to further because pain, hate, anger, dark side leads to power, and so he's doing that to try to get more and more powerful. And out of nowhere, she just kind of blinks, boom, lightsaber in the hand is just. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
like what she get the idea is
Easy.
like if I do this, it will come to my hand. Like she has no idea about the Force, right?
Yeah. And I love this point. This will be my all-time rallying cry. I love that point, and I used to have that big, enormous gripe until I realized we are talking about the almost ultimate compilation of Force connection. And what I mean is that in this movie, I personally interpret it that at that moment, every Jedi who had become one with the Force had given her the ability and their expertise.
So similar to in like number 9 where she hears them all speaking and all that, or
I love that scene.
So identical, literally identical.
Okay.
That's why it would, and I don't know how to describe that, but almost it'd be like if all of a sudden someone could put Patrick Mahomes' brain into my head, and then all of a sudden I'd be a great football player. Like just that used to be my gripe, and then I went, well, hold on. If she is becoming one with the Force in that moment, it is all generations past putting all their chips into it.
So your gripe lasted until Rise of Skywalker came out.
Yes, actually.
okay. So it's just
but no, it's a great point. But yes, I used to have that same gripe, and I at first I put it off and said, oh well, movie got a movie and she's got to survive. But then it dawned on me that the Force binds all living things, and in that moment, I think she was just given that ability. I also wonder how much of it was almost a protection instinct to where like like you said, Finn just kind of slices up the back like. Anyway, yeah.
The only thing I can say to counter that is, if we recall, Empire Strikes Back, Luke gets trapped by the Wampa and is about to get eaten. He doesn't automatically fly to his hand. He sits there, like he tries, and then he literally has to focus, close his eyes, reach out, and the Wampa's about to grab him, and it finally flies to his hand. And he's able to cut the Wampa, free himself, and he just books it out of there. He doesn't fight anymore. He just runs. That's where it's like, okay, I could understand if there's maybe more of a struggle to get it, but it just kind of like Kylo Ren reaches out for it after beating Finn, and instantly it just flies into Rey's hand, and then she's like master combatant with the lightsaber. When, as we said, Kylo Ren was trained by Luke Skywalker, literally the Jedi among Jedi, especially in this post-Jedi Council era. And so I know everybody has their own opinions about that. But those were just my gripes with that fight scene.
How'd Kylo Ren survive a lightsaber to the face?
It was just by the tip. I don't know.
I don't think, because she didn't finish him off. Because remember, she did that, and he was kind of like unconscious and dazed.
With like a $1,000,000 blade. Like, I mean,
well, she didn't smack him. Remember, it went up, kind of like how Rey got sliced up the back. It was similar. It was more close enough to just do that cut and that bad scar, but I don't think it actually full contact.
Disney and no dismemberment.
The thing I did want to make mention on the last point on the Kylo Ren, and I 1,000% agree that he was trained by Luke. I had seen this before, and I do put it out there. Is it possible that, because Luke trained him in the ways of the Jedi, is it possible that his training almost went out the window because he had turned to a different source?
I would say no, because in Anakin was trained in the ways of the Jedi, turns dark side. He still kept up with Obi-Wan, who was easily more skilled and was a professional Form 4 Sorceo, which I think that's how you say it. That was the most defensive form, basically impenetrable. And Anakin was still able to, as his powers were increasing, keep up with him. So I don't get how it would just all go out the window at that point for Kylo Ren in that sense. But that's me.
No, I got you. I just thought, good table talk. Last thing, for real. I did want to make mention, this is just the itty-bittiest, just great things I love about cinema. I love very first scene, you need to know which stormtrooper you're supposed to be following, and that guy reaches up and his bloody hand marks Finn's face. I just think that's great cinema. Like I just think that is such great detail that way you can follow Finn. Yes, this movie was so awesome the very first time. This movie, fun fact, holds my all-time record for movies for time seen in a movie theater. I saw this movie in theaters beginning to end 30 times.
What?
30 times in a movie theater.
0. What I did was, this was back when we were open for 9 o'clock movies. I had graduated high school. From the day it came out until because it came out the week before Christmas in December. From then until it left in February, I saw it countless times. I think after Christmas break, from January 2nd to January 15th, I saw the 9 o'clock movie every night for 2 weeks.
Okay, let's get some math going. So, Connor has watched The Force Awakens 30 times in theaters. That is 68 hours in the theater room of watching Star Wars.
On The Force Awakens.
On The Force Awakens.
Crazy.
I'm not going to ask you about Revenge of the Sith.
That's almost 3 straight days. 3 straight days in a movie theater, pretty much.
I haven't even seen La La Land that many times. So are we thinking what
S tier?
I will put it at an A. I will compromise and put it at A.
Above Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace?
Well, when you say it that way.
Yeah, what's yours? Is
I
it
would
a B?
put it low B,
Low B.
high C.
I could get along with that, actually.
I'm with Logan on the A. I have this as my number 6 of my
Really?
Star Wars movies.
Nice.
Yep.
And it does fall into, it was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw in theater. So as you said, the big
Nostalgia.
words on the screen, the music, everything, just feeling that in a theater, that also, the feeling boosted up to an A for me.
What would you guys give it out of 5?
I got out of 5, 3.5.
Okay.
I'd fall the same way.
Yeah. So are we putting it in A?
Low.
Low A? Okay. Well, it's the only thing.
It's the only thing in A.
It's the only thing in A. So like-
Because yeah, like I enjoyed it more than I think of Attack of the Clones and Phantom
Okay,
Menace.
Nice.
All right, this one is Rogue One. One of my favorite.
I thought
I thought we were going for Last Jedi for a second, but okay, sure, throw us off.
Apparently, it's like release date or something. But Rogue One is my second favorite Star Wars movie.
This movie is breathtaking. This came out while I was living in Australia on my mission. You're not going to believe me when I say this. I have only seen this movie beginning to end twice.
What?
Once to watch it the very first time, and then once when I went through all the series about a year and a half ago. I need to watch this again, especially with Andor. Like we said, and I apologize, I kind of took the wind out of your sails because of how much you love this movie. Again, Darth Vader at the end is peak cinema. Something we probably won't do it on the show, but like something I think I need to do is make a compilation of top Star Wars moments. That is one of the greatest moments in all of Star Wars. All the characters are amazing. I thought the humor hit so perfectly. The storyline, the fact that you know that they're all not going to make it because you don't see any of them in 4, 5, and 6, and they're not limited. What I mean is just you know that they have to go, and the connections you make. I am with you. Now, I do have the rule where my episodes 1 through 9 are my top 9. This is 10 for me. I love Rogue One. I could go on forever. And this is such a great, like Andor, you don't need lightsabers to make a great Star Wars movie. This is proof. This movie is so good.
I mean, there's still a lightsaber in it, but
That's
it's
true.
not the whole movie. So, oh yeah. Okay, Sean, take it away, man.
So Gareth Edwards directs this, and his movies are all known for huge scale, great cinematography, great CGI. His movies aren't the best in writing, but this one is an outlier in his movies because this movie I think has incredible writing, incredible pacing, incredible characters, incredible acting. I just think it's incredible all around. It's I give it 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5. I think it's just right up there to almost being a perfect movie. Shore Troopers, so cool. The Battle of Scarif, so cool. Cassian Andor, love his character. I love him even more after watching Andor.
Have you watched Andor?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
I have some thoughts, so we'll get to that.
Cool.
What else? Director Krennic, love his character.
Ben Mendelsohn
he's
is
the
such
GOAT.
a legend.
But yeah, this is my second favorite Star Wars movie. It's just so cool seeing X-wings come in on Scarif and destroy the walkers, the ATs or whatever. Oh my gosh, so
I
cool.
actually, if I remember correctly, they were actually called something different because
Yeah,
they are
they
slightly
were.
different than a normal
They're a little bit
AT-AT.
bigger and different. Yeah,
I can't remember the exact name, but small little detail. So
yeah, I would put this in S tier.
Oh, S tier, certainly.
S tier for sure.
no, it's really good. And as we said, doesn't need lightsabers. It does have lightsabers at the end. Hallway scene's amazing, but just knowing, like, if you're a big Star Wars fan, you know something's going to go wrong because they say at the end of New Hope, when they're planning for the attack on the Death Star, they say many rebels, or however they phrase it, died to get us this information.
Yeah.
And just the ending, you see everybody, they send it off, they get it, and just the main cast, they're just stuck there while they nuke the planet, basically. It's sad, but it brings that closure, and it's just a cinematic ending right there. Only gripe that I do have about that movie, and people can say I'm crazy, the pun that Darth Vader gives. Not a big fan. It's where he's talking to Krennic, and he chokes him and he says,
to choke on your aspirations.
I don't know. I was not a big fan of that. It was funny, but I just did not vibe with it.
Also, a huge shout out to Mads Mikkelsen. Is it Mikkelsen? Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen
Mads
is the
Mikkelsen,
GOAT.
He is stunning in every role, and his role.
Besides Indiana Jones 5, but
Anyway, we'll get to that in a different tier ranking someday. Yes, and I love the all-time great meme format it's a simple life. Or I can't remember what he says, but the farming is just so good.
Yeah.
And is it Felicity Jones?
That plays
That
Jade.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
she's
I-
incredible.
Yeah, and major credit. And I thought that had to be put out there too, because just everybody. Like this was just such a great movie. It was an all-time great.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it was our first introduction of Saw Gerrera, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Saw
Forrest
Gerrera,
Whitaker.
first appearance.
Yeah.
Saw
Oh,
Gerrera
man.
was actually introduced in Clone Wars, technically.
Oh yeah, the
but
animated.
I
Yeah.
thought it was after that came out, though.
no,
No?
it was
Oh,
in
okay.
season 4 or something. But no,
wow.
for like the
know
main audience to see the movies who
Okay.
didn't watch the series, he is the first introduction.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Forrest Whitaker, Saw Gerrera is
He's
So
been in
good.
more Star Wars media than anyone.
so good.
Like the
Rogue
reason, like here's the thing, I am so excited for Starfighter because of Rogue One. Like honestly, if Rogue One wasn't this good, I would be very excited for Starfighter. Honestly, yep, everything about this movie is almost perfect. I gave this one a 9 out of 10 as well, S tier for sure. Alan Tudyk, dude, as the robot.
Yeah.
K2SO.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Funny
dude.
story about Rogue One. Last time I was watching it, put it in our sound system. We're watching it on our surround sound setup or whatever. We had our bass just a little too high in the part where the one city gets nuked by the Death Star. Can't remember what it is. It got so loud and the bass was going so hard that it started melting and like we could smell like a burning smell. And we're like,
Oh my
we gotta
gosh.
turn it down a bit. It was a little crazy because like we got so I bought us a new like 4K Blu-ray player for like our setup or whatever, so we could actually get full surround sound, because before it was just kind of like 2-channel, but we had all 7 speakers, but it would just split the audio left and right. Now it's full 7.1 surround sound, so
my
we've been
gosh.
watching a bunch of movies on it now, and like, oh my gosh, Rogue One sounded incredible, like spaceships flying over you, like crazy. But no, this is incredible movie.
The fact that it's the perfect puzzle piece to a prequel of New Hope is amazing.
Yeah, and it felt like classic Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
It's my favorite thing Disney's done with Star Wars.
So
Shout
definitely
out
S,
Caleb. He said that last week.
definitely S tier on that one then.
Yep.
Definite.
Okay. Last Jedi. I would put this in
F.
D. I like it a lot more than Rise of Skywalker.
F.
Hot take. I think it has some of the best cinematography out of all of the Star Wars franchise.
Amen on the cinematography. S tier for me.
The cinematography could not save that movie. It looked beautiful, but it did not save anything that thing created.
No, that freaking fight scene with the Royal Guard and when Snoke dies. That's
You
like
mean
one of-
Snoke, who they built up and then killed off unnecessarily?
Hey, don't hate the player. Don't hate the
Don't hate
player.
the
Just
player.
hate the
I'm
player.
sorry, I have so many gripes about that movie. I could go on and on. So
But I
I'll let
would-
you guys talk before I jump into it.
I would
so.
give it a 3 out of 5, 2.5 maybe.
Really? Wow, I didn't know.
uh-huh.
Well, no, I
haven't seen it since it was in theaters,
well,
so it's been so long.
I thought you would have gone lower. That's
no, I need to rewatch it, but it's so long.
because you recently rewatched it. We
Yeah.
talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I recently rewatched it because I'll say this. First watch, not a big fan, because honestly, this was my first Star Wars movie I've seen in theaters because I missed Force Awakens, and of course I wasn't old enough to go see Revenge of the Sith. I rewatched it, and let me tell you, these are the Star Wars movies I have underneath it: Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Rise of Skywalker, Solo.
Whoa!
Yep.
What is Solo doing that low?
Yeah, I remember you said you did not.
Oh, man.
We'll get to it.
But I recently rewatched it, dude. It's a lot better on the rewatch.
I need to rewatch
It's
it.
definitely better on the rewatch. Like I said, I'm a sucker for Jedi training. This is the movie where you understand fully about the Force, understand fully about what Luke Skywalker really... his full character, honestly, because the crap that he has gone through, it makes sense in this movie, okay? The fact that he's training Rey is huge in this movie. It's huge, huge, huge. Like I said, I think it's not the perfect movie. Definitely not. I have it a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. But it's getting really overhated right now. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. Like I said, there are worse Star Wars movies than this.
I don't like the way they treated Luke's character in this one. I don't.
You don't?
Thank you.
No, I feel like they
Thank
made him
you.
weak. He's supposed to be like, why would he just give up on life? There was still more to do. Like,
He lost a full generation of Jedi, dude.
Yeah, because
Well,
he was
how would you
stupid
act?
and tried to kill him, but so they burn it down. But I don't know.
So
You
want to go?
Ozzy and I had talked about this, and I fully understand where you're coming from. That's where it is funny that I love this movie because I had no problem where they went with Luke, to the point of where I love it because of the juxtaposition of who we knew Luke was. And I'm with you that I think people do get frustrated that he's probably the one to blame for everything going down. But what we had talked about and I had said was, I love this movie because I think it's so raw and authentic of what someone would maybe act like and become had what had happened to him go down. And I think, this is almost an interpretation of it. I think he became the old hermit that he becomes because I almost think there's a sense that he felt betrayed by the Force and the work he had put in. That's just my interpretation of it. That's why I think he cut himself off, because he was like, I'm putting in all this work and this effort, and I see these bad things in Ben, and just it went south. I lost my entire generation. And at the end of the day, and he kind of even, I feel like, talks a little bit about it, where I kind of think he had felt almost like he was a relic in a previous era. He had resigned himself to a place that he didn't need anybody. Like he went away from everybody and he wanted to be gone because he felt that he had done what he needed to do. And when he lost his generation, he was like, you know what? I'm done. I feel betrayed. That's my interpretation. But I 1,000% merit your disdain for it. I appreciated the juxtaposition of it, but I certainly know why people don't like it. I will say this is significantly my least favorite Star Wars of the 1 through 9.
Kind of leaning, like you said, with his position, how with everything he went through, he would abandon it. That I totally understand. Going through that, I understand why he would withdraw and become a hermit. It's the events leading up to that I just don't understand with this character. Because remember, Return of the Jedi, this is the guy who, as his father was literally trying to kill him, he utterly refused to kill his father. He stopped. He was getting shocked to death and still refused to kill his father. Fast forward to now, he's training his nephew, and he goes and sees a vision of something, which might not even happen. It's a vision. You don't know. And he literally stands there. He's like, what is this? I need to kill him. Where does that come from? Like, never in the original trilogy or seeing Luke have you ever thought, oh, this is the guy who would just go off that hunch and immediately just kill some random person. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me in that way. He would have tried to find some other way or talked him through it as he did with his father. That's just what I don't understand. And he did do a little bit of redemption at the end. I just wish there was a bit more of a actual lightsaber duel versus him just sending out his Force Ghost, things like that. I wish he did carry on into the end of the trilogy, that he had actually flown out in his X-Wing, arrived, and helped them all escape and was there. But I understand why it had to end how it was, but it still just does not save that movie for me.
Yeah.
I hate what they did with Finn's character.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Again.
Rose or whatever her name was.
Rose Tico.
Probably one of the worst Star Wars
That's
characters.
my biggest negative on that movie
Like,
was Rose.
why would they force the romance between her and Finn? Because that was in there, right? Or am I tweaking?
No, yeah, because at the end is where he's about to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
She comes in and stops, and it's like, why would you? And it's like, kisses him. We're not going to win by destroying what we hate, by saving what we love.
Honestly, yeah, that was the biggest cringe in all of Star Wars.
Ryan Johnson, what the frick was that, man?
I honestly, I'm just saying, if Finn sacrificed himself, let's say Rose wasn't there, he sacrificed himself, the thing blew up, like, it was over.
That'd be such a good end
That would
to
have
his
been a
character.
great sacrifice. It would have been a great addition to the Star Wars franchise. But obviously Ryan Johnson's like, we got to make him survive, and he's got to have a lover, so...
Also, one thing I wish they would have done more in Last Jedi is, yes, okay, Rey was going to be the Jedi to be trained. Awesome. Why didn't they have him join her or something? Because Stormtrooper turned Jedi, I love that trope. Sure, in Legends like comics and stuff, they've had that in the past before. I thought that would have been such an amazing direction to go, or at least give Finn more. But in the end, and when we get to number 9, we'll talk about it, he literally just became the side character screaming Rey every 5 seconds. He was demoted, basically. And I'm like, dude, this guy was so incredible. I loved his character. And now he's nothing.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yep, I agree.
And I feel
I
like
do
they
understand.
really screwed over Poe Dameron. They made him seem a lot like this very prideful, just jerk almost. Like he didn't understand anything, where he was the ace pilot, the best pilot in the Resistance. His voice should have held more power in it, like him explaining, but they're like, no, you're stupid, you're hot-headed. That's why we're doing this. So we're going to tase you, lock you in the den, and be like, oh yeah, we're flying to this planet over here.
We also forgot about Leia's space switch.
No.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I don't like
y'all
what
is
they
right.
did with Leia in this
I see.
movie.
That's another negative I had. Like I said, it's not a perfect movie.
And the
How
whole
could I
like,
forget that?
what's the whole person who like flew the spaceship through the Star Destroyer?
Holdo?
She was annoying as frick. The
Laura
pink-haired
Dern.
lady.
Laura Dern.
But
I
yeah,
do think though that was a pretty cool shot.
It was a cool shot
That was a
because
pretty cool shot.
Ryan Johnson knows his cinematography, but he doesn't know his good movies.
But it was hilarious how they tried to explain it in the next movie. It's like, why don't we just do the same, autopilot a bunch of ships? It's a 1 in a billion chance it would never work again. Yet somehow it worked this one time. Am I right?
I didn't know they did that in the next movie.
No, I
forgot
do
about
remember
that
that. I do remember.
Oh my
but-
gosh. Okay, so
Sorry.
one
One
more thing. Yeah,
final.
yeah, yeah.
I personally, and this is the hot take, I personally love the Luke Force Ghost. For me, it's probably the opposite. For me, it was the ultimate character arc that he had sacrificed himself and asserted his dominance by not even being there.
I kind of relate it to Empire Strikes Back because Yoda trained Luke, and yet Luke left, but Yoda didn't go with him. It's kind of the same thing with Rey and Luke. Like Luke trained, but he didn't go with her. And then, he did the Force Ghost thing. It's just to stall Kylo Ren. But
Kylo Ren shouting more while they blast him.
so many memes on that.
So many.
When you're hungry for Thanksgiving, want more pie?
S tier.
Okay.
You know where I stand. I put it at F, but you guys decide where you want it.
Either because it would average it. Yeah. You can. I mean, like,
Yeah, D.
I'm kind of like a high C on this guy.
Yep.
Maybe
Like I said, I've only seen it once, so I need to
Maybe
go
like a
through
B
and
for
rewatch
me.
it.
Yeah.
So I'll put it at
I do highly
Low
recommend
C.
try to rewatch it.
I will.
Yeah.
I rewatched a movie I hated, freaking Doctor Strange 2, and I liked it
Yeah,
significantly better.
it's crazy how
Yeah.
rewatches can affect your opinion.